Hello everyone. Today I will start with returning values from functions. As we have done the functions, the basic of functions, user defined functions, and we all know that a function can take a value and return its output. Some functions we need not to return any result but to do some operations. That functions are not returning some value, that are void functions. For example, first function I have taken the function greet, where I do not need any return type. The function is printing just a message. The second type is function returning value. These are known as non-void functions, which means it will return a value. A return value can be of following type. It can be a single number, it can be any expression, it can be any variable and variable expressions. One thing is to be noted down, that if you are taking return statement in a function, it means that function will end as soon as it encounter a return statement. After the return statement, no execution will be done and flow of execution will be transferred to main program. So, as you know that in programming language, we need variables to store our values. While working with functions, there are two type of scope of variable. Now the question is, what is scope? The scope of variable determines the legal and accessible space of variables. This can be classified in two scopes, that is global scope and local scope. So what is the difference between local and global variables? The variables that are declared in local scope, these are known as local variables. The variables that are declared in global scope, these are known as global variables. So first I'll explain local variables. Local variables are declared within the function. It cannot be accessible outside the function or block in which it is declared. Global variables are declared outside all the function, which means top level of the program. Hence, each and every function and program can access those variables. For example, here is a small program of Python where I have declared x equals to 5, which is outside a function and at the top level of program. Hence, it is a global variable. I have declared a function func which contains a and b variable. So these variables will be considered as local variables, as it cannot be used outside this function. Now we have further two more variables, y and z. These are also global variables because these are not declared inside any function. These functions are outside. So x, y, z are the global variables that can be used inside any function and outside as well. But a and b are local variables that cannot be used outside the function. Here is another example, a program that contains two functions, calcsum and calcsub. The first is definition of function calcsum, second is definition of function calcsub. In sum function, I have used x and y and s. In sub function, x, y and s. The local variables can be repeated and can be used in different functions. Here are three global variables, num1, num2, sum and sub, four variables. So this is the basically use of functions. Like I can create so many functions in a program that I do not need to repeat the execution again and again. Like if I run this program, so it will ask for numbers. So now it is printing sum of numbers and subtraction of numbers. For example, if I want to print num1 here, see what happens. I'll 5, then 7. See, it is printing 5 because num1 is a global variable that can be used inside any function. But when I try to print value of x here, if I am trying to print value of x here, see what happens. 7, 8, 9. See, it is giving an error. Name x is not defined because x is local variable which is declared inside functions and we cannot use outside function. I hope the difference between local and global scope is clear. Keep learning. God bless you all.